up, everybody? Welcome back to Understanding the Reason. I'm your host, Jerome Jet. Excited, man, to be here. Listen, we got a lot to go over today, but before we do, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you do take us up on our offer to pick up our book, Understanding the Reason God Made Man, What Made Him Do It, and or pick up our merchandise and send me a selfie over on my Facebook Messenger, I want to celebrate you by placing you on at the end of one of our videos, just to show our love and appreciation for your support. Okay. And on that, on that note, please don't leave. Once you hear the music, please stick around and help us celebrate those who are the next person in line who is supporting what we're doing. Okay. We appreciate that so much. So let's get into it, man. Listen, you know what? Check this out. Our last video, we were just talking about the seed principle. We were talking about how effective the seed principle is, and that we know that it's true because that's what we see in our natural lives and in natural history and natural science, right? So when we think about the fact that, oh, by the way, we are going through the 6 days of creation and we're on day 3. Let me clarify. Let me make sure I get that out, right? Clarify what we're doing, okay? So we're going to continue on our 3rd day quest. There's some things here that I think are extremely valuable for us to know, okay? But let's take a little quick recap, okay? So we talked about the first day. On the first day, God introduced light into the natural world, into the universe, and I call the universe a construct, right? A temporary construct that was carved out of out of eternity, was created outside of eternity, okay? Meaning that everything in this temporary construct doesn't last forever. Like everything in this construct is temporary. You know what I mean? It's got a beginning and it's got an ending, right? So God introduced time on the very first, or light on the very first day, and time as a result of that. And he also introduced to us this idea that he's going to introduce man into the equation, right? This idea of 2 separate classes of humanity, right? Those who are the sons of light and those who are the sons of darkness, the children of darkness, right? The children of light and the children of darkness. So on the first day, he established that on the very, very first day. He also allowed us to take a peek into this whole idea of the Holy Spirit seeding the planet, right? Seeding the planet, putting the DNA we're talking about on our last video. Please check it out, man. It was fire. It was fire. So the Holy Spirit was brooding over this massive body of water, which we concluded, and we talked about this, man. So you got to go check those videos out. It's going to bring you up to speed, right? So we concluded that when Satan was cast out of heaven, him and the 1/3 of angels that he corrupted and influenced to try to usurp God, when they were kicked out and flung to the earth, they hit the earth in a tangible form, broke the water table, the earth flooded with water, right? The earth was submerged in this water, and then God took that damage and created our atmosphere, the bubble that prevents the sun from scorching us and our water supply from evaporating, right? And into outer space. But here's the thing. This is that part, right? So in that whole deal on day 2, what he was able to do was separate those waters, right? So he was able to separate those waters and put some in the sky, which we see. We see that, right? We see the clouds up there, right? That's water. So so the scriptures indicate that that's what he was doing. He was leaving some water down on the earth, some water up in our atmosphere, right? To create our atmosphere. And he exposed dry land so that he could introduce to us the seed principle on the 3rd day. Man, listen. So that's where we are right now. We're going to get into some reading. I want to read this to you because here's the importance of that, right? When we ask the question, why are we here? And we look back, if you go back and look at some of our previous videos, we were talking about how Satan is the one who actually had iniquity in his heart, right? And God could not destroy him at that point. But what he did was he sent his forces to do war, make war against this rogue spirit that wanted to be God, right? Now here's the deal. Once he was banished, God said he was going to destroy him. And not only that, but he instituted something called the plan of salvation. So now, with that in mind, let's take a look at what happened on the third day, besides the fact that God gave us food. Okay, so let's read. So on the third day, we understand that the seed principle is extremely important because it facilitates the Creator's design to deposit the incorruptible seed, the Messiah, into the earth, according to 1 Peter, the 1st chapter and the 23rd verse, right? He is the promised seed who is the centerpiece of God's plan of salvation. Although this detail is concealed within the Genesis text, it is the very core of God's motive to create mankind. Now, remember, we talked about the two families, right? The family of darkness and the family of light, right? Because God reached into the darkness and he pulled light, or he separated the light from the darkness. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So those of you that's been around, man, for a minute, listen, that tells it all right there. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right. So he is the promised seed who is the centerpiece of God's plan of salvation. Although this detail is concealed within the Genesis text, it is at the very core of God's motive to create humankind, mankind. In fact, what is remarkable about this first chapter of Genesis, beginning with verses 11 through 13, is it points to God's calculated plan for man's entry into the world. An amazing fact is that on the third day of creation, listen to this, God did not introduce the seed principle simply to govern the production of temporal life alone, right? In other words, God didn't just do that so that he could facilitate the disposition of genetic material being passed from one kind to, us passing it through our kinds, right? So everything produces after its own kind, whose seed is in itself. We talked about that in our last video. So God didn't just introduce this seed principle for that alone, right? Or that from the seeds being planted, we can grow our own food. We can grow our food, we can get nourishment and all of those good things, right? But check this out. This is very, very important. So his intention goes much deeper than that. Congruently, on a distant third day, at an appointed time in history, he intended to resurrect the incorruptible seed, the Messiah, and from him glean a harvest of souls. He would indeed produce the ultimate harvest, you and me, and untold millions with us, right? This was his overall objective and the plan for humanity the world over. According to the following words recorded as spoken by the Lord himself in John 12, the book of John, chapter 12, verse 24. Now check this out. This was and is God's principal motive in sending the incorruptible seed into the earth. Listen to this. Listen to what Jesus said. Listen to this. I tell you the truth. Unless a kernel of wheat is planted in the soil and dies, it remains alone. But its death will produce many new kernels, a plentiful harvest of new lives. Man, we are going to get back into this. I'm telling you, it is absolutely fascinating. And listen, it also points to the fact that this whole experience of us being on this planet has nothing to do with religion at all. Nothing to do with religion at all. And we're going to back that up on our next video. Please stick around. Please come back. Please invite, share, comment, and subscribe. Pick up our merchandise, our book, which I go into a lot of detail here. So this will really, really be a great resource for anybody that's looking for, understanding why we're here. Okay. It took me 18 years in this book right here. Okay. And if you do decide to pick up the book or a shirt, please send me a selfie over on my Facebook Messenger. I will highlight you at the end of our video like we're getting ready to do. So please stick around for that, and please help me show some love to those who are supporting us, okay? We love you guys sincerely, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. Peace.